Welcome back to the Blue and Gold Report. I'm Mark Roberts. It is a pleasure to turn our attention to an outstanding program that Dan Klatt has built up now for 7-8 years. The UC Irvine Women's Water Polo Program has now become a national contender on the big stage, and again this year they'll be competing for the chance to go to the NCAA tournament. And one of the stars of the team, junior attacker Hannah Croghan, is our guest here. She comes from a long line of great water polo athletes previously who played for Coach Klatt. She's having a great season. She's scored 39 goals to this point. She and McKenna Mitchell, the two leading scorers on a team that is 19-8, 6-1 in conference. And by the way, they share the Big West Conference regular season title with the University of Hawaii. And most importantly, the Anteaters compete in the Women's Water Polo Big West Conference Tournament at the beautiful Anteater Aquatics Complex. That will be at 3:30 this Friday. UC Irvine, the number 2 seed, playing the winner previously of UCSB and UC Davis. Hannah, we finally get to you. Congratulations on a great year.
Thank you.
Did you realize you could be this proficient, let's say, use that term, as far as scoring goals?
I mean, I feel like I had it in me. It's not like I went out there to score goals. Like, I mean, that's not like my leading role, I would say. But it just kind of happened. Like, we all go out there to play defense first off. Like, defense is our priority. Mm-hmm. And then we hope that offense kind of, like, happens the way we want it to. But, yeah, it's like the shots just kind of open for me. Like, sometimes I'll create it, but most of my teammates will create it for me, and I'll just be lucky enough to be in that scoring position.
You know, 79 goals between you and McKenna Mitchell, just you two. That's as much as some teams score the entire season. So it's really been wonderful, and it's great for you to know that they can't just feed all their attention on you, that you have her and several other girls that have done a great job as far as scoring. But with you two being the leaders, it's still a balanced attack, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. They definitely can't just, like, mark one player or, you know, like, focus all their attention on me or McKenna or anyone. Like, we have, like, all of our players are scoring threats. Like, Cambria's a freshman, and she has one of the best shots on the team. And Kelsey, like, she can fake out anyone and just have people underwater by the time she shoots it. I mean, everyone can score. It's not just me or McKenna or anything. It's everyone on the team is equal.
Now, you're in your 3rd year here. You've been part of teams with tremendous success as far as getting to the Final Four. So, I mean, there's a lot of accomplishment here. How do you compare this year's team? Do you think you can do that again, get to the Final Four? Is this year's team capable of previous great women's water polo teams?
Well, honestly, this year was supposed to be like an off year for us, or kind of a building year, because we have a few
red shirts.
Yeah, red shirts, 3 red shirts, and so no one was really expecting much from us, and we have totally surprised everyone. We knew that we could do it. Like, Dan always tells us, like, he knows that we're as good as we can be, and we've always known this the whole season. And other people just say, oh, you know, like, UCI, this is a learning year, but we've definitely, like, showed everyone up, and we're a great team. Like, we are.
Well, you have been. I mean, you're conference champions with Hawaii, and you've got a great shot, especially at your home pool, to advance to the NCAA tournament. Now, Dan always has a plan, and as charming as he is and as subtle as he can be, there's a real competitor there and a brilliant mind. So he's redshirted 3 girls so that they'll come back with you and so many others to be what next year could be a serious run, I mean very serious, at a national championship. With all that, all 3 redshirting, how much more responsibility did you feel you inherited to really keep this program afloat, having some experience, and not just yourself, but you being one of the key members of the team?
I mean, I knew that going in, that I was going to have to be a leader this year. Mm-hmm. And we have a few other players on the team that are definitely leaders, but I'm not exactly like a spoken leader. I try to, like, lead by example more so. And I knew that going in, that, you know, we have some of our key players out, but I think it's more fun because then other people can step up and play. Like, it gives everyone a chance. Like, we aren't a team that just has, like, a couple good players. Like, we are all equal and we all play for each other. It's not one person goes out there and says, oh, I'm going to score this goal just because I need to score some more goals. Like, no one does that. No one on our team does that. And I think it's just, like, respectable the way that we all play.
Seems to me, with all your ability, that it has been stretched where maybe in several aspects your role would have been focused on those areas, but now there's even more asked of you, and it's made you a better swimmer and a more proficient player, which will pay off not only in the conference tournament beginning on Friday, but next year also.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had to step up my defense a lot because, like, Dan just goes into games, like, obviously defense is our #1 priority. A lot of schools aren't like that. It's just kind of like, you know, obviously you don't want them to score, but their main goal is offense and scoring and, you know, like, having fun plays and whatever. But, like, we just really are, like, set on defense, and so, like, we know that that's our #1 priority.
You know, for folks who are listening very carefully to Hannah Croghan, our guest here, the junior attacker from Yorba Linda out of Rosary High School, part of a great 19-8 UC Irvine women's water polo program. She's mentioned the word defense 6 times. She is 1 goal away from being the leading scorer. So very little offense, a lot of defense. You know the point of emphasis of this program. It has been well branded by Dan Klatt. Speaking of Dan, how's he doing? And God, it's got to be a pleasure for you to be coached by somebody with a charming guy, but a tremendous coach with a great background in water polo.
Oh, I absolutely, hands down, think he's the best coach in water polo, in college
he very well
water
could
polo.
be.
And he probably doesn't know that I'm saying this because we've had our ups and downs like any coach and player can have, but he's just brilliant. He knows everything about water polo. I can ask him any question and he'll know an answer. Like, I never have, like, stumped him or anything because I have questions that not many other people will ask because I, like, see certain things that just, like, details. Like, I pick up on details about things, and so I'll ask him questions and he always knows an answer and, like, can steer me the right way. But he's just, I wouldn't play for anyone else.
Well, we're glad you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's part of the charm of Dan Klatt. He gets great, talented young ladies, develops them during their career into a great team and great program, and they're so consistent. 19-8, great record, but 8 losses. Okay, the fact is, all 8 losses were against top 10 programs, national contenders, you know, the elite, and some by very, very close scores. So you probably could have had a couple more wins. Do you think maybe having been on the short side of some tough losses has made you more competitive, and the program has learned from that, and maybe second time around, should you come across these teams in the postseason further after this tournament, might be able to turn that around?
Well, our schedule, we always play all the teams. We don't hide from anyone. We play all the top teams. Like, we don't have an easy schedule. Other teams out there, they play easy schedules.
Have their record.
Yeah, exactly. And then they have false confidence. Like, we have the confidence that we've deserved because we've had these hard games. And, like, my teammates and I were just talking this morning that we were glad. Like, it's not like we're glad that we lost to Hawaii, but we think it's, like, meant to be. It's kind of one of those things. It's, like, definitely strengthened us. We know what we can lose, obviously. We know that that's going to happen, but, like, we have faith that we're going to win the tournament. Hopefully, that's what we want. But I think that it just happens, kind of, and it's meant to be, but we've definitely learned from it.
Well, it's more difficult the second time, I think, to beat a program when 2 programs are pretty much equal, you and Hawaii. And by the way, the Anteaters and Hawaii shared the regular season Big West Conference Women's Water Polo Championship. And, of course, they're both in the tournament at the beautiful, I mean, it's an incredible facility, Anteater Aquatics Complex. UC Irvine will take on number 7 UC Davis at 3:30. That will be match number 2 of 3 on Friday, with Hawaii, who is the number 1 seed because they beat the Anteaters head-to-head, against number 8 Pacific at 12 noon. Looking at Hawaii, they and the Anteaters are the teams to beat. What about them are you impressed with, and what do you think you can overcome them?
I think that we can overcome them because they have a couple good players, like really good players. Like, one girl has an amazing shot, but I think the difference is that they don't play as united as we do. They don't play, like, as a team. Like, out of all the teams that I've watched, I feel like we're one of the best teams that just really plays, like, as a unit. Like, because we all play for each other. We're not playing for ourselves. And I feel like sometimes other teams have, like, certain players that'll just kind of play for themselves.
Play for their stats. And
yeah, exactly. And they think, oh, this is my shot, I'm going to take it, like, every time. But I think that that's where we change, is that we're just a solid team. They have a few good players. They're a good team, they are. But I think that we're just going to end up on top, hopefully, because Dan's coached us the way he should, and we're ready for it.
Well, to get to Hawaii, and for Hawaii to get to you, they have to get by Pacific, and you have to beat UC Davis, the number 7 seed, 3:30. The match begins on Friday. Tell us about Davis and what you expect from them, and how that match is going to go.
Well, when we played them for in the regular season conference, I think that we didn't play very well. It just wasn't a good game, and I think that they played their best game.
And you still beat them.
And we still won. It was definitely a close game. We didn't want it that close, but I just think a few games we've had that we don't play our best game, but we still end up on top. Which hopefully, once we play our best game, then we'll be able to beat these people by
maybe dominate them.
Hopefully, that's what we want.
Look, you're playing the third match of 4 on Friday, and you have to be prepared and focused on your opponent, which will be UC Davis. How much, though, will you get as far as time to watch some of the other matches? Will Coach Klatt give you a lot of time about that, or is he just going to say, hey, look, we take care of our own thing. We know we've seen these, gals swim before. We don't need to watch it. Or do you think he'll have you watching some of the previous matches?
I think it'll be kind of a combination of both. I think that he'll want us to see some of it, maybe not every game, but the certain games, or even just half of a game. But we have a lot of video on them, and so we're going to go over that. And we've played them this year already, so we know kind of what to expect. But I think that he'll kind of have a combination of watching certain games that he wants us, or even he might just film the game and then show us clips of what he wants us to see, so we don't have to stay out there the whole time. So it's
conserve your energy and all that kind of thing. Sure. What does it take to? You're an outstanding swimmer. Your personal goals and your personal accomplishments, along with team accomplishments, speak for itself. What do you think, if you were to design a really talented women's water polo player, what are the skills and what are the swimming aptitudes that they would need?
Well, one thing is that I've always been called really small. So one thing would be very long and tall is what you usually want in a water polo player. I don't have that, but I like to think that I make up for it in quickness and speed, and I can get over my hips and move really quickly in the water. At least I think.
Yes.
But so you need that. You need to be quick. You need to be long and obviously have a good shot. And it's just your IQ. You have to have that. It's kind of one of those things that you're
think the game.
Yeah, and you just have to know it. It's one of those things that can't be learned, really, and it's just either you have it or you don't, pretty much. And that's what really makes a good player a great player.
Let's talk about your sister, Katie. You're proud of her, you love her, and she kind of blazed the path, being the older sister. What's she doing today, and do you think you expect to see her over the weekend?
She is coaching at our old school, Rosary, and she's coaching a club team for water polo also, and she's working at Cedar Brothers, so she's been really busy. Wow. So I haven't even seen her that much. We'll get together every once in a while, but she'll definitely be here this weekend. She actually wanted to go to Stagecoach. I don't know if you've heard of that, but she wanted to go, but then it's a country concert.
Oh.
And but she was like, no, I have to go to Big West because it's at UCI.
Sure.
And she has to be there. I mean, I would be mad at her. I'd be like, get over here.
Let alone Dan Klatt, who would say, come on now, you're alumni now.
Yeah.
You got to keep the program fed.